Hey there, thank you for stopping by and checking out my YouTube video. Today I'm going to show you, and over the next few days and maybe a couple of weeks, I'm going to show you how I made this sock. This is quite a size here. So first of all, what you need to make this sock, I used 5 needles of a size 3.25. So 3 1/4. So this is how I'm gonna work the sock over 5 needles. Well, over 4 needles really, the 5th to work with. And I like to use my hook to connect the first round. Of course, you're gonna need some scissors. You might also, instead of a hook, want to use a needle to stitch everything up. So I really am going more towards cotton and natural yarns. I'm liking those more and more because of allergies and because I just like natural materials better. They break down over time and acrylic does not, and it's not good for our environment. Also, natural yarns are just better on the skin, I think. I tolerate them better myself. So what I've been using here for the sock, I used three different colors. From Lion brand, the Coboo, and this is 51% cotton and 49% rayon from bamboo. So it's for size 3. I use 3.25, but it works just fine. Yeah, you can just read off of this label here as well. My eyesight is not the greatest anymore. As far as knitting needles, it recommends 4 millimeters, so I'm a little less than 4 millimeter there. Same thing for crochet hooks. So I use the color steel blue that I start out with. And what's the other color? Beige. And the third color is mauve. So I'll start out with the blue, as I said. And today we're just gonna cast on and knit a few rounds, starting the shaft here. So this is what it looks like. I'm not a real pro when it comes to making the right kind of cast. I'm sort of learned one way of casting, and I'm actually learning a few different ways now. Some of them are quite complicated. I like to keep it simple, and it looks fine, I think. I'm sure there are better casts. I just use a very simple German long tail cast, a basic one. There are different ways you can do a long tail cast as well, but we're just going for the simple one. So for this person, I decided I'm going to cast on 56 stitches. So you can see the width in the end is like 7 inches all around the leg. 3.5 inches halfway. So I just custom make these socks. I measure beforehand how much I need, and I figure out how many stitches I'll need to achieve that length. And I've come to 56 stitches for this person. So that's what we're going to do. Without further ado, the way I measure how much I need for that long tail, I just kind of go yay far for 20 stitches. It's about, if you know the longer knitting needles, it's about the length of a long knitting needle. maybe a little bit further. And that's always been kind of my measure. I just eyeball things that will make about 20 stitches. So I do this length 3 times. Let's see how much that comes up to. That would be how many inches? To make it more measurable for everyone. Let's see. I would say about 80 inches. About 80 inches of yarn. Like I said, I just eyeball that. I've been doing it forever, so it's easier for me to do that. And if you're in doubt, just make it a little bit longer. You can always cut the excess off. So now, very simple. This is how I learned it. Just come in with the yarn end between the little finger and the ring finger, and then wrap it around the index finger, and then in the other direction around the thumb, if you can see that. And then you just hold on to that long tail here. Very simple how you cast on. Just take 2 needles, pull the string through, and when you do that, the thumb automatically goes back in from the inside out and forms another loop, and you keep doing that. If you lose it, just pull it back up, wrap it around your thumb, grab a loop, tighten it up each time, make sure it's nice and tight around your needles, and just keep going. We have 6 here, and we go a little bit faster. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, more than halfway there. Let's pull out some more yarn. Sorry. And don't lose your count. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. If you notice me losing a count or making a mistake, leave me a message, let me know. I'm just human. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 56. Let's count it. It's better to count twice than to having to redo it all again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, 2, 4, 6, 8, 40, 2, 4, 6, 8, 50, 2, 4, 6, 65. I mean 56. See what I mean? So now I get my other needles. And we can cut some of that long end off here. We don't need that long end. And then what the pattern I'm going to use for the shaft will be knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl the entire time till I get down to the heel. So that's all we're gonna do. Makes it very easy to sit in front of the TV and just knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. So the first knit, you enter from the front left, pull the yarn through. For the purl, you bring the yarn in front of the needle into your other needle from the top right and pull the yarn through, knit, purl, knit, purl. Let's get some more light on this, sorry. Knit, purl, knit, purl. And you do that until you have 14 stitches on the first needle. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We just have 10, so knit, purl, knit, purl. Now we have 14. And then we grab the next needle. So in the end we end up with 14 stitches on each needle. So I'll just keep going with the next one. Knit, purl, knit, purl. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Next. And be careful not to get tangled up in the yarn. I think I'll set that on the floor here. Make it a little easier. And again, start with knit, purl, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Last one. Starting to look pretty interesting. If you never worked with 4 or 5 needles before. You just have to pay attention, make sure that none of the needles start slipping out. In the beginning that can be a little bit tricky, but you just make sure that you knit pretty tight so that your needles aren't just hanging really loose. If your stitches are tight, then your needle won't fall out. And now we're almost at the end. looks a little wonky here. I don't know why. Let me stitch that a little differently. And the last one should be a purl. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm always double and triple checking. So now we're going to connect the beginning and end. You just have to make sure that none of this is turning into all kinds of directions like this. So make sure all your work is straight. You can see the edges on the top. And then we will just continue on with the first needle. You kind of have to have your fingers everywhere and hold everything. It's a little irritating in the beginning, but it gets easier with time. So we start out with a knit here again, and really nice and tight, so you don't have a hole from the beginning to the end. And with the purl, and knit, and purl, and knit, and purl. And of course you can use any colors you want. You can make your sock just in one color. You don't have to use the color selections I've chosen here. I'm just going to continue with the next round until we are back at the end of the fourth needle, so I can show you how I connect that a little bit tighter. You can leave it like that and just keep knitting, that's fine, but I find that if I kind of tighten it up a little bit in the beginning, it makes it easier for the first few rounds to not develop these huge gaps. Boy, this blue looks really bright on the camera. It's actually not quite that bright. It's a really natural looking blue one, in my opinion. But you have to go in the store and look at the Coboo yarn. I really love it. It feels really nice and smooth for being a natural yarn. In the beginning I didn't use as much cotton because most cotton yarns seemed a little thick and bulky. But this one being part bamboo, it's surprisingly soft. I would use it for a baby blanket too. So we're on the fourth needle here already. Knit, purl. See how my needles are not slipping out at all. You just have to have nice tension on your yarn. So, and by this time, if not already, I like to tighten it up a little bit here. So just real quick. See how it still wants to keep coming apart and creating that big gap? That's why I'm going to use this hook to bring that end through to the inside, and I'll turn it around and just give it another. Oh, that wasn't very good. Let's try that again. Let's try it all again. So I'll just flip it around and make a nice little knot. And tighten it up really nice to keep that little end kind of on the inside. See how that's much tighter? And then I don't have to worry about every beginning of the round for this to try and pull apart. I can just continue knitting. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and just keep going that way. Let me see how many I stitched here. So you can knit the entire shaft that way until you get to the desired length. In my pattern, that's how I made the entire shaft. The entire shaft, knit, purl. And every so often I changed out the color. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that right? Okay, 12. 12 is what we did for the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, if you want to make it exactly the same way, continue knitting 12 rounds. And then after that, I did 3 rounds of the beige. And I believe also 12 rounds of the mauve, 3 rounds beige, 12 rounds blue, and just keep going that way till you have the desired length. This is the length I went with, and that ended up to be about 11 inches, but you can make it as long as you want or as short as you want. And with the next video, I'm going to show you, if you don't already know, how to change from one color to the next. So for now, I'm just going to continue knitting. Thanks for watching. And if you like it, give me a like, subscribe, and share with anybody who might be interested in it. Thank you so much. See you next time.